Welcome and welcome back to Really Legal. I'm attorney Ethan Bearman. So today, Trump money man Alan Weisselberg was sentenced and carried off to jail, where he's going to spend up to the next 5 months at Rikers in New York. Not a good place to be. I'll give you the good, the bad, and what's next. And by the way, before we even get started, if you're enjoying this channel, please be sure to subscribe and share with others. Really appreciate that, and your comments below as well. So former Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg, today, Wednesday, April 10th, 2024, 5 months in jail for lying under oath during the New York civil fraud investigation involving former President Trump and others. That's the AG Letitia James case, where we've gotten the $450 million judgment plus interest. And so there was going to be the bond that was reduced by the appeals court to $175 million. And there's a lot of questions about that bond and when AG James is going to start taking Trump property. But that's for another video. We're talking about Alan Weisselberg, who back in early March of this year pleaded guilty to the perjury charges as part of his deal was to accept up to 5 months of jail time. But it's interesting to note this is not Alan Weisselberg's first stint in Rikers. What is he, a 78-year-old guy? He should be enjoying his life down in Florida after 50 years of apparently very good service for the Trump Organization, or maybe really bad service if he accepted doing fraudulent work for them. I guess it depends on your viewpoint. The law doesn't look kindly on fraud, that's for sure. So this isn't his first stint. Why is that? Remember, DA Alvin Bragg had a separate 2022 criminal tax fraud case against the Trump Organization, in which 2 subsidiaries of the Trump Organization were found guilty of 17 felony counts. Those entities were fined $1.6 million, while Trump was not personally charged in that case and denied any knowledge of that fraud, but Weisselberg was found guilty, and he spent about 100 days in jail at Rikers Island back then. So this now is a separate issue. This is AG Letitia James' case against the Trump Organization, and he was found liable for fraud as part of Letitia James' case. And excuse me, it's a $355 million judgment, another $100 million in pretrial interest for lying about his net worth in his financial statements, basically 2 sets of books. Weisselberg, who helped Trump with this civil fraud scheme that they were found guilty of in Judge Engoron's court, he personally is on the hook for $1 million in that as well. He was ordered to pay back $1 million. Trump is appealing that ruling, as we well know. But since Weisselberg's guilty plea in early March, New York Attorney General Letitia James is asking the court to look into the potential consequences of his perjury. I'm going to get to that in just a second, because I think it's really important to note what Weisselberg lied about. I mean, he has pleaded guilty to perjury. He has admitted he's a liar now. And by the way, once you admit that you're a liar and commit perjury, in the law, we have a term for this. It's an old Latin term called crimen falsi. You're a known liar. You're automatically impeachable in court, at least in California you are. So I can say, look, there's a known liar sitting on the stand. And this is a problem for him from here on out, and AG James is going to take care of that here to the best of her abilities soon enough. But here's the thing. It was Weisselberg who said under oath during his deposition in the AG case, AG Letitia James case, regarding the Manhattan apartment, this triplex of Donald Trump's, of which Weisselberg and on the papers had said that it was over 30,000 square feet, whereas in reality it was just over 10,000 square feet. And under oath, he said in the deposition, quote, "Well, we didn't find out about the error until the Forbes article came out." And that's a 2017 Forbes story that really broke this whole thing open for the perjury and the fraud case. Forbes magazine, congratulations to them for exposing the true size, much smaller than Trump had stated. True size was much smaller. of his triplex. So that was a lie. And Weisselberg admitted as much in early March. So you can't lie under oath. But the big deal is now, A.G. James wrote a letter dated April 4th that just came out. We found out about this, that the Manhattan District Attorney's Office found emails from Weisselberg that confirm, allegedly, that he knew the true size of the apartment all along. Are we surprised by that, by the way? Is anybody surprised to hear? Comment below. Is anyone surprised to hear that they were lying about the net worth of Donald Trump, his organization? I mean, because that directly relates to Donald Trump. And things like his apartment size? Well, I thought Stormy Daniels told us what else he might not be truthful about with his comments about size. I don't know. I mean, that was just her statements. But the point is this. In the letter, she wants to find out more. And she wants to do more discovery. And she wants, and this is where it gets a little touchy, she wants the court-appointed special monitor to investigate what else is going on here. And here's a quote from A.G. James' letter. We have already raised multiple times the prospect that defendants have withheld relevant and responsive information from the Office of the Attorney General. She abbreviates it there to OAG. We therefore ask that the monitor be tasked with reviewing the electronic files collected by defendants to determine if the documents referenced in the criminal complaint were in the possession of the Trump Organization and if they were produced in either the underlying investigation or in the discovery in this action. We would further ask that the monitor be authorized to conduct this investigation report back to the court and OAG within 2 weeks. So there might be a problem here of a judge is not supposed to be a prosecutor. And so if there's a further investigation, it might not be within the purview of the court-appointed monitor in the Trump fraud case. That just might be outside their purview. I appreciate A.G. James exploring that possibility. Hard for me to say that that's going to succeed, though. Whether the monitor does it or if A.G. James is able to continue and do further investigation, I think that'll be very important to find out. So look, I tell you, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and what's next. The good, Weisselberg admitted he's a liar and is going to Rikers. He could be released in as early as 100 days with good behavior, of course. The bad is we don't know how much this is going to be useful in the Trump civil fraud case that A.G. James brought forth. Typically appeals courts, which is where that case now is, Trump has appealed it. That's why the reduced bond, the appeals court said, well, you don't have to pay quite as much of a bond while we figure out if this case was determined correctly by Judge Engeron. The bad is we don't know if this is going to be useful in this case yet. So what's next? Weisselberg, he's off in Rikers. He's going to be set aside into a separate area so he doesn't get brutalized by the rest of the inmates. It's going to be a rough next 100 days for Alan Weisselberg. Sometimes, you should have thought of that before lying to investigators. But also what's next is we'll find out what the court rules regarding A.G. Letitia James and the ability to use this perjury and this new information from the DA's office about how long and how much they knew, if that's going to have any impact on the Trump civil fraud case. Look, I so appreciate you watching the videos. Would love for you to click the like button down below if you enjoy what you're watching. Even if you don't, you can still click that like button. Smash the subscribe button here on the Really American Network channel on YouTube. I love your comments. I'll read many of them and I respond back. If you go back and look, you'll see me responding often. And of course, I want you to share this with your friends, your family, and your frenemies. Thank you so much for watching Really Legal here on the Really American Network. I'm attorney Ethan Bearman. I'll talk to you next time.